What's going on, guys? Wanted to fire up the camera, give you another benchtop overhead style review of yet another offering from Klein Tools. This is going to be another one in their kind of series of mod box style bit and socket sets. And I'm trying a slightly different angle here this time. Hopefully there's not as much glare from the overhead shop lights. You guys let me know what you think about that. Just found out about this guy here. A buddy of mine at work actually mentioned it to me. And we both actually ordered one within about a couple minutes of each other off of Amazon. I believe Lowe's and maybe some other places have these available as well. It's going to run you about $40, which is somewhat comparable to this 1/4 inch set. I think this ran about $50. This larger 3/8 set ran about $70. So somewhat comparable in that set. And it's going to have some of the same or similar features, but they're actually quite different at the same time. So one of my questions, as I was kind of buying this, and actually I originally thought this was a 1/4 inch set. These are actually 3/8 drive sockets. I was kind of wondering, is this something to kind of supplement these other two, to use with, or is it something to use instead of, or to replace one, the other, or both of these? And maybe we'll kind of answer that question a little bit more as we go along. But first impressions are that this will actually be something you guys might want to have in addition to both of these, as there's a little bit of crossover between the both that really just adds a lot of useful, applications to all of these together and combined. So again, we'll kind of jump into that. First things first, let's look at the packaging. Same kind of minimalist cardboard outer sleeve, kind of a little bit of a clamshell holder in the inside. There's, different pictures and text if you guys want to pause and read any of that. Everything's impact rated. There's some use cases with drills and extensions. Here's some more literature on the back talking about the impact ratedness, different features. And here's the included socket sizes, extensions, different bit sizes. So actually quite a decent array of different styles of bits. Should cover most of your typical applications, at least here in the US. And there are a couple metric hex sizes in here as well. But there's that. I noticed they don't show the included driver handle, which is kind of interesting. Though they do have that bit extension, but it does come with a driver handle. So there's that. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. Whoop. Nothing else in the box. Does show that these are magnetic. I assume they're just talking about the extension, but I'm sure the bits kind of magnetize themselves as you work with them some more. But you can see a very standard mod box, pretty much the exact same size as the 1/4 inch pass-through set. And of course they do clip together in any order you want them to, so that's nice. Put these back together, and if you guys haven't seen, I do have a separate review on the channel of these two guys. Here's that. Let's go ahead and open it up. Same latch. One difference I'm noticing immediately is the lid here is a lot looser, a lot more floppy. Not necessarily a deal breaker, but I did really like on these guys how you can kind of just open this and it just kind of stays put. Kind of. I suppose the more I kind of use this, the more it's probably going to loosen up too. I don't know if that's just a fluke of this one or if they're all like that, but again, not a deal breaker, but maybe worth mentioning. As far as retention, looks like just the handle really isn't locked in. Everything else nice and secure. So if you got this working and it drops off your engine bay, well, you are probably going to lose a few, but maybe not all of them. So let's put some of these back in. I did that on purpose, by the way. Now everything does have its place. It's not like you can just stick any of them anywhere. And, you know, for some that's a good thing, for some that's a bad thing, for some you're not going to care either way. Each bit is individually labeled. So we're going to put a few of these back, maybe where they went. It's a PH1. Yeah, so we didn't lose a lot of them. But pretty good selection of sizes here. Number 1, 2, 3 Phillips. What I call 1, 2, 3 slotted. It's actually 3/16, quarter, and 5/16. Number 1, 2, 3 Robertsons. T10 through T40. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Torx bits. This I was actually pleasantly surprised by. You have these, what I call ECX bits. They're calling them C1 and C2. So number 1 and number 2 combo bits. So that's your square drive with the slotted wings for things like outlets, electrical switches, breakers, that sort of thing. Really handy little guys to have if you do a lot of electrical work. Then you got 5 SAE smaller hex sizes, and then 5 smaller. This is 2, 2.5, 3, 4, and 5, I believe. Metric hex, and then 3/32, 1/8, 5/32, 3/16, and quarter for those. And then your sockets: quarter, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, half, and 9/16. And again, these are 3H drive. They're not quarter drive, and they're not pass through. So this is different, though there is some redundancy. I'd say it would be nice to have, you know, at the very least, the quarter and this ProFlex bit set, or even just the 3/8 in this. You know, especially how many times are we trying to loosen a nut and a bolt, and you want a 9/16 on the head and on the nut. You know, it'd be nice to kind of have both. So what you can do here, you know, you got this guy, you could stick in an impact, or in here like so. Nice little nut driver. Hold one side and then use your ratchet for the other. Or if you need a little extension, obviously, you know, you got some different options there. So that's nice. Nice handle. Kind of a missed opportunity here, I think. I'm surprised they only included the standard 1/4 inch, you know, magnetic bit holder, and not one of these flip socket bit holders. You know, a lot of guys are kind of making this change. You know, there's a super stubby mod and other similar. You know, it still fits in the handle. Though, by the way, this is a slightly smaller and less girthy handle than the other extendable handles. Just as a quick aside about that. But they still hold up to a 6-inch bit, which is nice. So this is probably not the worst thing to do, is swap that out. Still fits in there just fine. You know, these guys will still fit in there. And then you've got one extra feature that you didn't have before. So just an option there. And I know in my last review, when I reviewed these, I mentioned that maybe one of their next things they could do was have a case for the ratcheting, you know, screwdriver that works along with this 1/4 inch set. I was wondering if that one would fit in here. Now, obviously, it's just going to be the handle. But just as a quick aside, this does fit, although it's a little tight because this end is a little bit fatter or bigger. Kind of makes that lid want to pop open. But that's kind of a neat feature, actually, if you want a quick access. Now, granted, you are losing a little bit of your 1/4 inch bit driving capability, at least until you combine it with one of these. Like, one thing you could even do, you know, stick this guy in here, carry it like that, and then, you know, whenever you need a bit, you've got that. Or if you're using them together. So I still would like to see another case that holds maybe just this, or maybe this and some metric sockets, something like that. But it's still a good little versatile set. And again, this guy does work with these other extensions. You know, keep in mind, these are pass-through, these are not. So there is some redundancy, some crossover, but also some, you know, unique differences as well. But we already reviewed that set. So getting back to this guy, See, I'll put this away. And we'll go ahead and just, before I lose all these guys, we'll stick those back on there. Yeah, so yeah, not a bad little set. Plenty of bits, you know, plenty of your common sized standard sockets. You know, I'm curious if they come out with a metric set, and if they do, you know, I guess the only real difference is going to be maybe just the sockets. I'm sure it'd probably have the same handle. So yeah, kind of interesting to see where or if they go, you know, with any metric options. I know they have the other, it's just flip sockets that have both metric and standard, you know, double-sided or double-ended sockets. You know, are they going to do kind of some single use, you know, 3/8 drive or 1/4-inch drive metrics? Who knows? But this is what they offer now. Now you can see these are a little bit on the bulkier side, so you should be able to feel pretty confident, you know, if you really got to put some torque on these. Just to compare the two 9/16, for instance, you know, there's quite a bit more meter on that one. Got probably a little bit more depth, though not much, on this guy than this guy, though this is lower profile. Again, kind of two different use cases, so not a bad idea to have both. And then again, going back to this guy, which, let's separate all these. This does have that 3/8 adapter, which is nice, so you can kind of combine aspects of this with either of these two guys, which I could see being handy. I do notice, you know, these other guys have a magnet in their 1/4-inch sockets. There is no magnet in this 1/4-inch guy, but you got this magnetic holder, so, you know, that'd probably be a little on the redundant side too. Stick that back in there. But yeah, again, just a real nice selection of bits. You do have your drill or impact adapter. You could still put in your driver handles as well. So some nice versatility there. I think I mentioned in my other review, it would still be nice to have some kind of a universal joint or like a flexible adapter to use with these. You know, sometimes you do have to get in a little bit at an angle, you know, to approach some different fasteners and whatnot. You know, even just somehow figuring a way to add one of those, you know, flex holders in here would be kind of nice. But, you know, at the end of the day, I've always kind of thought that, you know, these aren't necessarily meant to be standalone, like all you're going to use tool sets. These are kind of something you want to throw into a bag along with other tools and accessories to use with them. Not that you don't have a lot of capability. You know, if you just had these three, you know, especially you throw this in under the seat of a truck or in a glove box, you know, even just any two of these, like say the 2 1/4-inch, I mean, that ain't taking up any space. Or even, you know, just like I already had it with a 3/8 and one of these 1/4-inch sizes. You've got a lot of power and capability, you know, in just those couple of sets, or all three. I mean, let's be honest, this ain't taking up much more room. Like I say, throw it under a seat, throw it in a small tool bag, you know, along with maybe another type of socket or maybe some, you know, universal joints or other bits and accessories. And you've got something that can really add to your capabilities in your tool set for really not a lot of money. Again, this is 40, this is 50, this is 70. Now, at the end of the day, if you only have, you know, 70 bucks to spend, you know, 80 bucks to spend, and you could only get one of these, you know, which is kind of the one to have or the one to get first, you know, I don't know if I can really even answer that. I will say this would not be a bad one to get first, just to have by itself. But you really almost do want like an extra one with it. Trying to think, it'd be nice if there was a 3/8 adapter, you know, for this guy. though you still got 1/4-inch sockets in there too. So, you know, I'm thinking if I really could only just have 2, you know, that's maybe an easier question to add or to ask. This ain't a bad set right here. 3/8 ratchet with the 3/8 sockets and the driver handle, along with some bits. Again, maybe you want to, you know, get in a tight spot with the bit driver. You know, you've got that going for you. You really get all the torque you want and more. Probably too much torque. But yeah, some nice versatility there. Same with this guy, you know, throw that on with any of these sockets. You've got some extra options there. So yeah, it kind of rounds out what's otherwise, you know, already a really nice and versatile kit. Rounds it out just even more with some extra capability, versatility, some redundancy. Notice in this box, doesn't quite click on as easy as these other ones. Maybe I just need to wear it in. But yeah, you guys also getting that loose lid? Curious what everybody else's experience are like with these. You know, still seems decent, but these seem like they're a little bit better right out of the box. So at any rate, well, I don't want to make this review too much longer. All said, you know, another great offering from Klein. Offers just a little bit more, a little bit different than a couple of these other ones. A little bit cheaper too, by the way. Again, 40 for this. This was 50. This was 70. So you're saving a few bucks, getting many or much of the same features, if not more. You know, if you're more concerned with screwdrivers and bits, you know, definitely get this one. Again, you still do have that nut driver and impact capability, which is nice. Really nice that you can stick that in there actually and use this with any other 3/8. You know, it's a nice little quick nut driver. So yeah, it's definitely got some versatility. One thing I would like to see, you know, additionally that this doesn't really have, it would be nice if these were already security torques and some security bits. Klein does offer some security bit sets. You can swap some of these out. I think Railer also offers some 1-inch security bits that you could swap a few of these out. It'd be nice if you didn't have to, though. You know, as more and more things are starting to use those, you know, the more things I work on. It does come with one extra number 2, by the way. Here's a number 2. This also is a number 2 that came with it. So that's nice. I'll mention that. I do like the size of the handle. You know, not that I mind the larger ones either, but yeah, that's about it, guys. 40 bucks, Amazon, Lowe's. You know, I'm sure other places are going to start carrying these as well. Definitely a nice either standalone kit or even better as a supplement or an add-on to one or both of these other pass-through socket sets. You know, I think Klein's doing a great job, and I'm curious to see what else they come out with. Still haven't got their flip socket one. I think there's even one more additionally that I'm forgetting about. But for, yeah, 100 and I guess about $160, $170 worth of tools here. You know, not too bad. You know, obviously it'd be nice, you know, always nice if things are a little bit less expensive, but for what this is, for what you're getting, I've seen similar sets from other companies costing at least as much, if not double or triple, you know, especially when they start coming with sockets. So, you know, I'd say I'm pretty close to impressed here. So I would recommend this. Nice little set. Again, definitely if you're adding on and combining. But I've already said that, so let's go ahead and cut this one off. 20 minutes is long enough to talk about just about anything, I think. If you guys like what you heard or have any thoughts, opinions, you know, similar or otherwise, leave them below. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.